what is the mass number of krypton 84? I don't panic when you see these notation. Remember one simple rule. The top number is the mass number, the bottom number is the atomic number. Here the top number is 84, so the answer is simply 84, which is option C. And remember, the mass number is always proton plus neutrons, and you don't need to any calculations here, just read the top number. Question B, which element has atomic number 15 and mass number 31? Is another common mistake. The mass number doesn't tell you which element it is. The atomic number tells you what it is, because atomic number is the identity of the element. The atomic number 15 belongs to phosphorus. We can refer the periodic table for this, which is phosphorus. Its symbol is P. So the correct answer is option B. So if you are asked to identify an element, always look at the atomic number first. Question C, how many electrons are in selenide ion? Sc2 minus. Neutral selenium has atomic number 34. That means it normally has 34 electrons. But notice this 2 minus charge. A negative charge means this atom has gained electrons. So 34 plus 2 is 36. The correct answer is option B. Negative ions gain electrons, positive ions lose electrons. This question is about empirical formula. So they have given the percentages of each atom in the molecule. If you follow just 3 simple steps, you can get the empirical formula. The first thing we do is, imagine we have 100 gram of the compound. Then percentages becomes grams automatically. Then so we have carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. 53.3 gram of carbon, 11.1 gram of hydrogen, 35.6 gram of oxygen. Now convert each one into moles by dividing by its relative atomic mass. 53.3 divided by 12, 11.1 divided by 1, 35.6 divided by 16. So you get 4.44, 11.1 and 2.23. Now we have to divide every number by the smallest one, which is 2.23. So divide 4.44 by 2.33, 11.1 by 2.33, 2.23 by 2.23. Then you will get 2 is to 5 is to 1. This is a ratio. That's the simplest whole number ratio. So the empirical formula is C2H5O. So the correct answer is D. This question is about ionic equations. Strontium nitrate can be prepared by the reactions of strontium carbonate with dilute nitric acid. The equation is shown. Strontium carbonate solid plus 2HNO3 aqueous forms strontium nitrate aqueous, carbon dioxide gas and H2O liquid. First identify the aqueous ionic compounds and aqueous acids of this reaction. HNO3 is an acid, strontium nitrate is an ionic compound. Then you can split them into ions. Strontium carbonate remain undissociated because it's a solid. HNO3 can be split into 2H plus and 2NO3 minus. Strontium nitrate, strontium 2 plus, NO3 minus. CO2 and H2O molecules are covalent molecules, so we can't split them into ions. So CO2 remain undissociated, so we have to write it as it is, CO2 gas and H2O liquid. Okay, now identify the expected ions. Expected ions are present on both sides of the reaction. We can identify these expected ions. Nitrate is an expected ion. You can see nitrate is present in both sides of the reaction. There are two nitrate ions. Yeah, that's it. Now you can remove the expected ions and rewrite the equation. You can remove these two nitrate ions from both sides. React equation is strontium carbonate solid plus 2H plus aqueous from strontium 2 plus CO2, strontium 2 plus aqueous, CO2 gas and H2O liquid. There are three steps. The first, you have to identify the aqueous ionic compounds and aqueous acids. Then split them into ions and remove the expected ions and rewrite the equation with the remaining species. So the correct answer is C. Part B, what is the percentage atom economy by mass for this preparation of strontium nitrate? Atom economy equals MR of desired product over MR of total MR of products or reactants into 100. Here our desired product is strontium nitrate. So let's calculate its relative formula mass first. 87.6 plus 14 into 2 plus 16 into 6, that gives 211.6. There are two more products, carbon dioxide and H2O. A relative molecular mass of carbon dioxide is 12 plus 16 times 2, which is 44. Relative formula mass of water is 1 into 2 plus 16, which is 18. MR of desired product is 211.6 over total MR of products, 211.6 44 plus 80 into 100. And we get about 77.3%. So the correct answer is C. Question number 5. Which isoelectronic ion has the largest radius? Isoelectronic ions have same number of electrons. So they have same number of electron shells and similar shielding. Therefore, ionic radius depends only on the nuclear charge. As the number of proton increases, nuclear charge increases, and then higher the nuclear charge, stronger the attractions between the nucleus and electron. And when the number of when the nuclear charge increases, the nucleus attracts electrons more strongly. As a result, electrons are pulled closer towards the nucleus. Therefore, ionic radius decreases. So the ions with fewer proton has a large atomic radius. Calcium has 20 protons, chlorine has 17, potassium has 19 protons, sulfur has 60. So the correct answer is D. Question number 6, 0.1 moles of sodium nitrate dissolves in deionized water to form 250 centimeter cubes of solution. What is the solution concentration in grams per decimeters cube? They have given the molar mass of sodium nitrate. So we have to calculate the mass concentration. Mass concentration is equals mass of solute in grams over volume of the solution in cubic decimeters. Molar mass of sodium nitrate is given, so the first we can calculate the mass of sodium nitrate. Mass equals number of moles into MR. Number of moles 0.1. MR is 85. So we'll get 8.5 gram. Now you can convert the volume into decimeters cube. So they are given the volume in centimeters cube. You can divide this 250 by 1000. It would be 0.25 cubic decimeters. The mass of the solute is 8.5. So you can divide this 8.5 by 0.25. So this is going to be 34 grams per decimeters cube. Correct answer is D. Question number 7. Which of the giant lattices of carbon atoms contain flat hexagonal rings? Diamond has tetrahedral arrangement, so it's not a hexagonal ring. Both graphite and graphene have flat hexagonal rings, so the correct answer is D. Question number 8. The first ionization energy for the hydrogen is 1312 kilojoules per mole. What is the ionization energy in joules that is needed per atom of hydrogen? We are given the first ionization energy of hydrogen as 1312 kilojoules per mole. But the question is for energy needed per atom in kilojoules. Atom in joules. Okay, first we can convert this kilojoules into joules. 1312 into 1000. Then we'll get 1.312 into 10 to the power 6 joules per mole. This is the ionization energy for 1 mole of hydrogen. 1 mole of substance contains 6.02 into 10 to the power 23 particles. Here it is atom. So if you want to find the energy per atom, you have to divide this energy by Avogadro constant, the 6.02 into 10 to the power 23 atoms. 1.312 into 10 to the power 6 over 6.02 into 10 to the power 23. So this gives approximately 2.18 into 10 to the power minus 18 joules. The correct answer is B. Question number 9. Which molecule is polar? Polar molecules have overall dipole moment. Therefore, the easiest way is to look at the shape of the molecule and see whether the bond dipoles cancel out. This beryllium chloride is linear molecule. This chlorine is more electronegative than beryllium. So chlorine has delta negative charge, beryllium has delta positive charge. This is the symmetrical shape, therefore a dipoles cancel. CCl4 is tetrahedral molecule. Chlorine is more electron than carbon. This chlorine has delta negative charges and carbon has delta positive charge. This is also symmetrical shape, so dipoles cancel. PCl5 PCl5 is a trigonal bipyramidal molecule. Chlorine is more electronegative than phosphorus. Phosphorus has delta positive charge. This is also symmetrical shape, so dipoles cancel out. These all three molecules are non-polar molecule. But NCl3 has 3 bond pair of electrons and 1 lone pair of electrons. These bond dipoles don't cancel completely. It has an overall dipole moment because of this lone pair electron. Therefore, NCl3 is polar molecule. Remember, if molecule has only 1 lone pair, it is always polar molecule. So the correct answer is B, NCl3. D orbitals. How many electrons in total does zinc have in p orbitals? Let's write the electron configuration of the zinc. Zinc has 30 electrons. So the electron configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, 3d10. There are 2 p subshells, 2p and 3p. So there are 12 electrons in p orbitals. Zinc has 12 electrons in p orbitals. So the correct answer is A. 6.3 gram of cerium reacted completely with 1.439 gram of oxygen gas. What is the formula of the oxide formed in this reaction? We can follow the same steps we used when calculating an empirical formula. Convert the masses into moles, then divide the moles by the smallest number and get the simplest whole number ratio. So there are 2 elements, cerium and oxygen. Mass of cerium is 6.3. Mass of oxygen is 1.439. Divide 6.3 by 140.1. You get 0.04497. Divide 1.439 by 16. So you get 0.08994. So the smallest number is 0.04497. You can divide both by 0.04497. 0.04497. 0.04497. Then you get the ratio. Ratio is 1:2. Therefore, the formula is CeO2. So the correct answer is C. Question number 12. Which compound can only be naming using the easy naming system and not using the cis and trans naming system? Okay. For cis trans naming, first we need a carbon-carbon double bond, because rotation around the carbon-carbon double bond must be restricted. Each carbon of the carbon-carbon double bond must have 2 different groups attached to it. Right? Then, if there's a suitable pair of identical groups on the 2 carbon atoms, we can name them as cis or trans. When the identical groups are on the same side of the carbon-carbon double bond, we call it as cis. When they are on opposite sides, we call it as trans. However, if all 4 groups attached to the 2 carbon atoms are different, we can't use the cis-trans system. In that case, we use easy naming system. So if we can see, this first molecule has 4 different groups: chlorine, hydrogen, CH3, C2H5. Therefore, the correct answer is A. Question number 13. Pre-radical substitution is a mechanism of the reaction between methane and chlorine. Question A. Which drawing of curly half arrows shows initiation? And this is our first step of the mechanism, initiation step. This step happens when UV light breaks this chlorine-chlorine bond by homolytic fission. Here each atom gets 1 electron from the covalent bond. Also, we draw this using curly half arrows like this. Because this one arrow shows the movement of only 1 electron. So the correct answer is A. Question B. Which equation is not a possible propagation step in the reaction? Remember, in propagation, a pre-radical react with a molecule and form another pre-radical and new molecule. So there are 2 propagation steps here. CH4 react with chlorine radical to form CH3 radical and HCl molecule. Then this CH3 radical react with chlorine molecule to form CH3Cl and chlorine radical. Keep in mind, the hydrogen radical is not produced in this reaction. Therefore, the correct answer is option A. Hydrogen radical is produced. Question C. What differentiates a termination step from a propagation step? In termination steps, 2 radicals react together to form a molecule. So there can be 3 reactions. Chlorine reacts with chlorine radical react with another chlorine radical to form chlorine molecule Cl2. Chlorine radical react with CH3 radical to form CH3Cl. CH3 radical can react with another CH3 radical to form C2H6. Therefore, no pre-radicals are formed as product in termination steps. So the correct answer is C.